right here. Hey guys, how is it going? It's us again.
That's right. I'm John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, Radlyn Mendoza. And we come to you every Sunday night at 8 o'clock to give you updates on immigration law and other legal updates if they're applicable and important at the time. We bring you an inspiring immigration story, and we have all of our TikTok family as well that is joining us, and they bump in with us as well every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. So how's everybody doing out there? We haven't been here in a week.
Yes, because it's Memorial Day, and our daughter is also here. She's observing the Facebook live stream. Our youngest 10-year-old Ray Gardner in the background. Ray, you want to come over and say hi? Oh, she's coming. See, she does love the spotlight.
Yep, she's
come on, Ray.
Way.
Come on. This is our youngest. Okay, she's over there drawing, and do you want to say hi?
Hi.
All right. Well, there you have it. Say have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
All right.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Okay. Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Yeah. So the most important thing we do every week, we give you the updates, but we also want to answer your questions. That's really why we do this more than anything else. So if you have any questions, immigration questions, please put them in the comments. If you're on TikTok, same thing. And we will take the questions as they come in, and then we will answer them. I will tell you that what we do here is technically not legal advice. It's for educational and informational purposes only, but we will answer your questions. All right?
Yes, we will answer your questions if we can. And we are looking at this camera. Our focus is with our live stream here on Facebook with our Facebook fam. We have been doing this for over a year. So if you are on TikTok and we don't get to your question, we apologize. But if you want to make sure that we get to it, tune into our Facebook Live. You can join it now, and you can write that question in the comments, and we will put it up on the screen and answer that. So we are going to give priority to our live stream that we've been doing for a really long time. So hello to Jen. Thank you. Jen says we have a beautiful daughter. We think so. She's beautiful inside and out. All three of our daughters are. I don't know if you guys know that, but we have three daughters, 17, 15, and 10. And hello, Miss Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And so get the questions going, and we will do our thing and give our updates. And as the questions come in, we will answer them.
Yeah, and I did want to mention, because we, since we've added TikTok into our Sunday evenings here, sometimes the TikTok questions start to roll in pretty quickly. And our Facebook, as Radlyn said, our Facebook Live really is our focus. So if you're on TikTok and you have a question and we don't see it, we're not addressing it, it probably slipped by us and we didn't see it. So if that happens, I'd urge you just to pop it back in the questions again, because I'll keep looking at them.
Right.
And we do already have a question from TikTok.
They're scrolling very, very quickly here. Like they kind of scroll up on the screen, whereas here on Facebook, we can put it on the screen. But anyway, so what are we doing first? We're doing the inspirational immigration story, as we do every single week. And we are sorry that we missed you last week again for Memorial Day. We don't like to miss it, but it didn't seem right to do a Facebook Live on Memorial Day weekend. But it is my mom's birthday today. My mom is going to be the inspirational immigration story of the week. And you know why? Because she's my mom and we're in charge of this Facebook Live, So I'm picking my mom. I'm just kidding, guys. But my mom immigrated to the United States in the mid-60s, and she was recruited as a phlebotomist. And she that's someone who is taking blood. And I think there's a shortage at the time in the United States, so they were recruiting phlebotomists. And she came and she trained and she did the job. Her first stop when she immigrated to the United States. Now, again, she's from the Philippines. And her first stop was Chicago, Illinois. So when I was a little kid, I would go up to the attic and I would see my mom's scrapbooks before she had children, before she was bogged down with the 3 children that she had. And she had these beautiful scrapbooks, and it was just her on these huge snow drifts. And you've seen some of them too.
Indeed, yeah.
And it just was cool to see this warm weather, warm-blooded Filipina and on top of the snow. My mom loves to take pictures. No matter where we go, she's always taking pictures. And I think that's a very Filipino thing as well. But she is absolutely an inspiration to me and to my siblings. She took care of our family. My dad was in the Navy. She was a Navy wife for 9 years until my dad got out to start our grocery store business. And I'm going to say that my mom, there was a lot of crazy ideas that my dad had and still does, even though he's, he should be retired. Both of them should be retired, but they're still working. And she just played a wonderful supporting role. And I look up to her for that, because again, not all of the ideas worked, but she was always there, standing by her man, standing by my dad, and also supporting all of us. And she still is. She's in the Philippines running that part of the business. And hopefully I stand by you too.
Yeah,
but
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the precedent.
The precedent is good. The precedent is good. But, I remember this, my dad had these ideas, and one was he took all of the fish out of our coolers and he put them in bathtubs in the fish market. And I was thinking, this is a terrible idea. Why are you taking them out of the coolers? And I think it was because he thought it would just, the people would like to see them because they're right there. They're not enclosed in these counters and these glass counters. And she was like, this is not a good idea. And she still supported him. Turns out we had to go back to the coolers after the bathtub fiasco, but she was there. But the one thing that I really just truly, when I look at my mom, and my parents weren't married at the time, so she came here as a single woman from the Philippines. And the bravery of it all, of leaving her country and leaving what she knew her whole life to come to the United States on a journey like that, it just blows my mind. Sometimes like, oh no, I can't go to X city because it's too far, or whatever excuse we give. And my mom was very tight-lipped about her immigration story, but that's what I know about it. And I know that when I ask her, like, Mom, how did you get here? How did you get this opportunity to come? And she's like, I just asked. And I think about that all the time, because my mom is about 4'10" or 4'9" or 4'8". She's very, she's small in stature. And I think about, again, just how brave her soul must have been to just take that plunge. So Mom, happy birthday. I love you. And you are inspirational immigrant story of the week. You absolutely deserve it.
And I, of course, am really glad that she made that move.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's how we're together.
Yeah.
All right.
And speaking of bravery, very briefly, I'm a history buff.
History buff. Yes, we gotta get it all.
Yeah, we'll get to the questions. But speaking of bravery, I did want to just mention to everyone that today is June 6th, and so it's the 77th anniversary today of the D-Day invasion. The Allied forces landed at Omaha Beach and in Normandy. It was a big thing. A lot of lives lost. Huge turning point in Utah Beach as well in World War II. So for those of you who were there or have relatives who were there, thank you. That was huge.
Right, and we weren't here last week during Memorial Day to thank the service members and who lost their lives. But
okay, so we've got questions that have been rolling in.
Do you want to give an update, or do you want to answer a couple of questions first?
Yeah, my concern is we're going to get these questions are going to get away from us. So the first question that we have.
So John is going to read these questions. His eyes are way better than mine. I can't see the questions.
Yeah. So Nexi12 wanted to know, how can I apply for my minor son for citizenship? He is in the Philippines.
Okay. So that is going to require, so the question is applying for a minor child who for citizenship. And that's going to be done typically with the consular report of the birth abroad. And there are many requirements for that. And it all depends on the age of the child, when the parent became a U.S. citizen. And it does have to do with the time that you have been living in the United States as a citizen. So that would have to be, we'd have to analyze that. It's something that, we do, and we typically do that as part of, say, a fiance visa process, but you don't have to do it as a part of a fiance visa process. It can be done as a standalone process. And it's something we absolutely do, and would love to assist you with that. If anybody, I want to put our number out there. If you guys want more information, or if you'd like an appointment, a consultation, you can text our office number, and that number is 757-464-9224. Of course, it's all over our Facebook page, and it's in my my bio link in TikTok. So feel free to text for that, but it's doable. It's something that we do all the time, and we'd be happy to help with that process.
Okay.
And let's see here. We've got a question. This is I'll answer this real quick. Let me put this on the screen.
All right.
So Rula says, I've applied for my sister October 2017. She lives in Dubai with her family. Would we be able to expedite the process? And so, Rula, I'm not sure where your sister was born or where you're from, but it takes a really long time. I mean, this is a sibling. So this is a U.S. citizen filing for the sibling, and that's going to be in the 4th preference category. So it's the longest preference category. If so, Rula is from Lebanon. I don't even like to say this, but I'm going to say it right now. It is taking about 15 years for that process to become, for that visa to become available. And you've already filed it. I think that's fantastic. I think that's wonderful. A lot of people procrastinate in filing that 4th preference category petition because it takes too long. But the time will actually get here eventually. And unfortunately, there is no way to expedite that particular 4th preference category. You just have to wait for the visa to become available. Be happy to talk to you to see if there are any other options for your sister and her family. But there is no way to expedite an I-130 petition filed on behalf of the sibling. And when I say expedite, what I mean is for that visa to become available faster than what the wait time is. So, Rula, I'm sorry to have to break that bad news to you, but it is. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but thank you so much for that question. All right, so why don't we give a quick update?
Yeah, do you have any predictions on when we'll be able to travel to the Philippines?
We can travel now, but the problem is that you have to quarantine for 10 days. You have to show a negative COVID test, quarantine for 10 days, and a lot of people like us, we can't do that. Right. So, hold on, follow-up question. This is actually good. This is good. So Rula says, and this is a good point, and I'm going to check out the visa bulletin real quick. So Rula says, my mom is a citizen now. Can I flip her paper for my mom? So what I think she's asking is, can mom petition for sis, and is that going to be faster? So I'm taking a look at the June visa bulletin to see what the processing times are for that particular category. And that would be the married son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. That's the category that cis would not now fall under. And it's most likely going to be faster. But again, we have to take into account the number of years the 4th preference petition is taking, right? So let's see what we got here. And I'm going to look at the family sponsored. And I'm getting ready to do a TikTok about how to read the visa bulletin, because it's important. I like the visa bulletin. It's good to know what's in it. But let's see here. So yeah, it's 15. So this would be the 3rd preference. It's a little bit faster. Yeah, it's not when you look at the time that you've already been waiting, which has been 4 years, right? So 2017, for the 3rd preference category, which is married son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. They're processing cases that were filed on September 1st, 2008. So that's, about 13 years, right? And then the other is 15, but then you subtract the 4 and you're at, what is 15 minus 4? It's 11. Yeah. So it's still faster at this point for you to have that petition for your sister. So yeah, but that's a really good question. I know you guys are like, what the heck? 11 years, 15 years, 19 years for the Philippines, 22 years for Mexico. Yes, it does really take a long time in those other categories. So, all right.
Okay. And speaking of timing, there was a question that came through on TikTok. And those of you on TikTok, we do not want to discourage you from joining us. We love the TikTok folks, and we love that you're here. But if you do have questions, if you come through the Facebook Live presentation, it's better for us and easier for you to get your questions answered, because we're able then to put it on the screen, and we prefer that because we can read it and deal with it a little more efficiently. But in any event, the question that's coming through is from the Philippines, asking if it's quicker to get a fiance visa and then go from there, or to just go ahead and get married and then start the process.
So this is a question that we probably get every week, and I probably get on the TikTok a lot, and it's something that I'm actually going to do a longer TikTok. I'm able to do 3-minute videos now, but just really quickly, is it longer to do the fiance visa process or the marriage if you just get married? And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right?
We did.
And it really just it depends on what the goal is, right? If the goal is, I want my loved one, my fiance, to be standing in front of me in the United States as soon as possible, then yes, the fiance visa process is faster, I think. And I say I think because if you guys are interested in the fiance visa process, you know how backlog it has been. You know that there are several lawsuits ongoing right now with the fiance visa process. And there's just massive backlog, guys, everywhere. The media is like, oh yeah, everything's open. They're starting to process everything. Colombia just sent us an email like, we're closed. We're not processing immigrant visas or fiance. We're not processing any visas right now. But that's something that we're getting internally because we have clients there. So it really depends. It's a hard question to answer because when you look at processing times for the fiance visa, the K1, the I-129F is taking 5 to 7 months. All right. She's like, hot diggity dog, 7 months. My fiance is going to be right here in front of me in 5 to 7 months. No, 5 to 7 months. And then it's another 2 months to transfer to the National Visa Center. And there's another month or two to do the visa interview. So the K1 visa interview. So the fiance visa is just not fast anymore like it used to be. There's a huge backlog, unfortunately. You flip on over to the getting married question I have is, when can you get married? Can you get married tomorrow? Maybe it's faster. Is it going to take you 6 months to get to your country to get married? These are all these things that have to be discussed before we make a strategic decision. I was consulting with an old client of mine, and we were talking about the fiance visa versus the immigrant visa, and we decided, okay, let's do immigrant because of her particular circumstances. And then she came back and like, I'm really having a hard time, getting an application for the marriage, a marriage certificate. I can't get it. So her country was kind of giving her a hard time about issuing that certificate. So these are all these factors that can come into play. And I wish I could say, yes, do the fiance visa, yes, do the marriage. It just depends on a lot of different factors. So I hope that question wasn't too wishy-washy. It really, really, really depends on facts and circumstances. It depends on, other factors are one big problem with the fiance visa that I've seen over the years, other than the time, that it takes to actually for the person to be here, is that when your fiance comes to the United States, they can't work immediately. And they're not going to be able to work until they get that work permit. That work permit is right now taking 6 months, 8 months. Is your fiance, well, it will be your spouse, right? Once you get married, you have to get married within 90 days. Are they going to be happy sitting at home for 6 to 8 months? I have found that my clients are miserable doing nothing and waiting, especially if, the spouses, U.S. citizen spouses in the military, they get deployed. I mean, it's, so, these are different things that we talk about during consultation. If you want more information and you want us to talk more specifically about, hey, these are my specific facts. What do you think is the best thing for me? I encourage you to make an appointment. And again, John and I, we're here to give out information. We're here to give out tips. It's fine if you don't consult with us. Just consult with someone. Right. So you have the path forward, the path forward, and you can make an educated decision. You can't look at processing times on USCIS and like, okay, I'm going to do this. Gosh, you look at processing times if you get married, and if your case goes to, what's the longest? I think it was California. You're looking at the processing times like max of 24 months. Like, who wants that? So anyhow.
Okay. So that's a lot of information.
That's a lot of information. I'm talking so fast. I'm thirsty. We got a big
question here, but just a general question. Maria from TikTok wanted to know if she can petition for her parents if she's a permanent resident. She's not a U.S. citizen.
Great question. I have a video on this. As a lawful permanent resident, you cannot file a petition for your parents. You have to first become a U.S. citizen. And then once you become a U.S. citizen, you can file a petition for your parents. The great thing about that is your parents are they are considered to be immediate relatives of a U.S. citizen at that point. So there is no wait for a visa. It's just a wait for the processing time. So I encourage you to become a U.S. citizen as soon as you can. I did a TikTok. You can actually file 90 days early. From when there's 5 years if you're a lawful permanent resident, 3 if you got that through your permanent residency through marriage, and you can file actually 90 days early. So hopefully that helps.
Yep. So we had a big question here. Maybe while you're digesting that, let me give you a little bit of update, because people have been asking us about the immigration reform. If you checked out some of our Facebook lives from a couple months ago, we talked a lot about this in detail. I did, detailing what the proposed bill had in it. All I can tell you right now is that nothing is going on with it. It's not that it is failed or that it's stalled out permanently. It's just that, Washington takes a long time with things, and the Congress is not very fast, which is okay sometimes. Not okay other times, but in any event, what's really happened, in my opinion, is that just with all of the things going on, the immigration bill, it was already going to be a big legislative lift for Washington to deal with. And I think Congress has just backburnered it for now, because there's other issues that they're addressing first. For whatever reason, they've chosen to take up things like a voting bill and infrastructure and additional COVID relief, those kinds of things. And so they kind of put immigration on the back burner. So it's not, don't be discouraged. It's not that it hit a wall and that's it. Nobody wants to do it. It's just that it kind of got shelved for the moment while they address some other things. And as soon as I feel like it's starting to move again, I'll let you know. I told Radlyn just today, I think the key to having any of it move is to break it up a little bit. I know that's not popular in some circles, but I just think that as an entire bill, it's a heavy lift, and I think it could be too heavy. So I hope that they'll start to think about breaking it up and maybe trying to pass some of it through piecemeal. That'd be better than nothing at all. So
yeah,
the update is no progress, but it's not over yet. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to give a couple of immigration updates as well. So if you have an interview coming up at USCIS, they have updated their mask mandate. And that is, if you are fully vaccinated, then you do not have to wear a mask at USCIS. The officers are also not required to wear a mask if they are vaccinated. And if you are not vaccinated, then you are still required to wear a mask. It's Scouts Honor. Do we still say Scouts Honor, or is that like politically incorrect?
I don't know, but I mean, everyone knows what it means. So
all right.
It works.
So it's on your honor. It's your word. it's your word that you've been vaccinated. But that's the update. They are still not having guests at naturalization ceremonies, unfortunately. And we will keep you updated if that changes in the future.
Yeah, and let me remind everyone as well, because this is another question that I've been getting. The mask mandate is over as far as the state is concerned from the governor, but private businesses can still require a mask. So, it's just not worth getting in a fight with somebody, at a 7-Eleven or something over the mask. Okay. Some stores that I've been to have taken their mask signs down. If you're vaccinated, you go into those stores, you're good to go. But if there's a sign that says we are requiring a mask, whether you're vaccinated or not, when the governor rescinded the mask order, he specifically said that individual businesses still had the discretion to require one if they chose to. So, all right, just so
Yes.
you know the rule on that, all right?
Our Facebook fam would never cause trouble.
Well, I just, I don't. Yeah, that's true. They would never. You're right.
I just don't see that happening. Okay.
No, I meant the businesses.
Gotcha.
So they know that they can still do it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, we're all good here. Okay. So Miriam has a question. It's a long question. So let me see if I can. Oh, that's funny. I'm not going to put it all up because look, then you can't see us answering the question. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to read the question real quick. I'm interested in knowing how to help my mother, who is a lawful permanent resident now in Colombia. In January of 2020, she renewed her green card and traveled to Colombia. So that was January. So it was okay. Then the pandemic hit and has now not been able to travel to the United States. Now she's vaccinated and ready to travel here, but more than a year has passed since her last visit. Should she just travel to the United States and present her case with the immigration agent at the airport, or should she apply for SB1 re-entry visa from Colombia? And she says that Miriam, the daughter, is a U.S. citizen. So really good question, whether she should apply. That could take a bit to get. Really depends on boiling it down is mom has been outside of the United States for more than a year. When you are a lawful permanent resident and you're outside of the United States for more than a year, then there's a possibility that, they can say that you have abandoned your lawful permanent residency, and mom could get some fire from the CBP officers about why she has been out of the United States for over a year. Now, Miriam, I kind of want to look into this and to see what CBP is doing about this because of the whole global pandemic. It's been, let's see, January, February, March, April, May, June. It's almost been 18 months since mom's been out. So she's been out for quite a while. It could be risky for her. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I want to take a look at this question a little bit more. I want to research what CBP has been doing with these particular types of cases and ask, our colleagues back at the office on what their opinion is on this, because this is really, really a really good question and very important. Applying for the reentry could take some time, and that's just more time that mom is out of the country. If we were like around a year, I might say, and if mom was, just feeling confident about explaining herself as to why she was out for more than a year, I would say go for it and try for it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how old mom is. I don't know what trauma it's going to be for mom to be placed into secondary inspection. All of these things have to kind of come into play. I was just having this conversation with someone recently. She's been out a lot longer than 18 months. But it's been a really crazy year. We can get that. We understand that. If mom had a doctor's note, and said, hey, we advise that she not travel because it was too risky because of her age. She waited to get vaccinated. As soon as she got vaccinated, here she is coming back again. So I want to see I'm going to take the pulse, Miriam, before I give you a solid answer on that. It's not legal advice anyway, but I still want to give you a better answer than kind of the thoughts that I have rolling around in my head, because it's risky. And I don't know how old mom is and what the, just being placed into secondary proceedings for any amount of time at all, we've been placed in secondary proceedings, and it's not fun.
Coming from Colombia.
Coming from Colombia,
ironically enough.
Yeah. And I mean, people were just like, why were you and your whole family in Colombia? And, John, he hadn't shaved, or I don't know. I think it was John. They actually pulled him out of the line because he was looking like a rebel without a cause, but it's no fun. It's no fun, even if it's for
no, it's not
a
at all.
short period of time. We're going to miss our connection.
I mean, I was pulled out. The family was sitting back there, and they were asking me extra questions. And I know it's a very unsettling experience.
Yes, right.
No matter who you are.
Mom is 78. I'm going to say no go on the trying to thread the needle, just because that just makes me really nervous. And I'm very conservative as well. Like I don't just send people into the fire and like, oh yeah, go for it and see what happens. I mean, they could actually strong arm her into signing an abandonment of her green card right there on the spot. I mean, but that has been known to happen. Again, I want to take the pulse on CBP, what they're actually doing because of coronavirus. If there's any policy out there of staying out for more than a year, it is serious, but it can be explained in this case. So Miriam, I'm going to just say for right now, and please send me a direct message with your email, and you can do that right through Messenger, and I'll get that answer to you. Okay.
And you can also, we had a question about contacting us. Our number is area code 757-464-9224. GardnerandMendoza.com. You can direct message us, come through Facebook, TikTok.
Yep.
Or you can email us, radlyn@gmlaw.net or jcg@gmlaw.net. All right.
There's our number right there.
Yeah. So one of the questions we had, I'm a U.S. citizen now. If I petition for my brothers and sisters, what's the timing look like there?
Are they from the Philippines? If you're from the Philippines, it's 19 years. A visa.
I think so, because they said need to wait 20 years.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's 19. Actually, it's gotten better. In all seriousness, no, guys, this is a heartbreaking long amount of time. And when you're a sibling, you're just like, okay, well, what the heck's the point, right? Why would I file a petition? It's going to take 20 years before my sibling gets here. And what's even more heartbreaking to me is when people don't actually file it and then come back to us in 10 years, like, I'm ready to file it now. And you've just wasted 10 years. And I will tell my own family story about this. Okay. And I think about it, and there was a sibling that got left behind in my family. There were 8 siblings total. And my dad immigrated to the United States through the U.S. Navy, did the thing, petitioned for his mom when he became a U.S. citizen. Mom then petitioned for her children. Okay. And the siblings came, her children came, my dad's siblings came. But there was one sibling that was left in the Philippines. She was married. So it was taking a really long time, and no one petitioned for her. I don't know why. Again, I don't know the circumstance of this case, and apologies to my family for telling this story. But I always wonder, like, my dad has been a U.S. citizen since like 1969, right? It is 2021 right now. What's the math on that? I don't even know. That's
52 years.
52 years. So she could have been here 30 years ago if the processing times were at 20 years back then. They weren't. They were not 20 years. They were probably like I have no idea. They were probably like at 10. So yes, 20 years, 19 years is a long time. I almost said the FR word, which I'm glad I didn't. Freaking long time. Let me go ahead and say it. It is a very long time. Mexico right now is 22 years. All other countries are like at 15, 16 years. But the bottom line is, the question to ask is your sibling and their family members going to still want to come to the United States in 20 years if that's the only possibility that they have? And I'm going to say, just speaking from my family's experience, the answer is absolutely yes. My tita would love to be with her other sisters and her brother. She would love to be here. My cousin Eddie would love to be here. And that opportunity, I don't know what happened, but no one ever petitioned for her. And it's a shame. It's sad. It's sad to think about. So yes, it has taken a really long time. Do I think you should not file the petition? No, I still absolutely think you should file the petition. We are all going to be here, God willing, 20 years from now, and people are going to still want to immigrate to the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen. That's all I got to say about that. No more lecturing, no more sermon.
So James also likes history. He's going to learn everything he can about the Philippines. I think that's awesome. Good for you, James.
Cool.
And he wanted just a clarification. So he said, so it's faster for the fiance to be married before she comes from the Philippines to get the green card and be able to work. Is that what?
So when you do the immigrant visa processing, we're not talking about immigrant visa processing, guys. I'm talking about you're getting married, you're filing the I-130 petition. It's a totally different process than the fiance visa process. You're going through National Visa Center processing. Spouse is going to that interview. That interview is for an immigrant visa. When they put that immigrant visa stamp in the passport, that is proof that that person is a lawful permanent resident of the United States. As soon as they enter the United States, they will be able to work as soon as they step foot onto the ground. And that is huge for so many people. That's huge for so many clients. Immigrants love to work. Americans love to work too, but I just think that, even more so, there's just, especially everyone, like anyone who's immigrating here, they want to work, they want to be productive, they want a paycheck. And yes, so to answer that question, that your spouse will be able to work if she enters the United States on an immigrant visa, or if they enter the United States on an immigrant visa.
Right. Okay, and coconut lawsuit, yes. Wants to know if she can ask about an I-485.
Yeah, sure.
After 2 years, we have not gotten an interview. Ooh. Will we just have a permanent green card?
What's the question?
Will
she just have a permanent green card?
Right, because they haven't gotten an interview after 2 years. I'm not sure.
Okay. So this is a good question. I think this is what the question is. They got married, filed the I-130, or maybe this is a fiance visa process. They haven't had an interview yet. And now they've been married for over 2 years. I believe that's what the question is. So the answer is yes. When you go to that green card interview, you will be receiving your 10-year green card. That is the only silver lining of having to wait that long of a period. Like, it's terrible if you get your interview at 22 months, of being married. But if you've been married for over the 2, then yes, you will absolutely be getting that 10-year card. My tip on that is take a lot of marriage evidence. Like, don't go in there with your marriage certificate and some pictures.
And will there be a condition on it?
No condition. No condition. So that's the only positive thing about a really long wait time. And again, you have to be married for over 2 years in order for that to apply. Good question. Yeah, love that question.
And to bombard you a little bit more, how about timing? How about consular processing versus adjustment of status? Is it longer to go through to get a green card via consular processing?
These are two totally different processes. And you cannot do adjustment of status unless you're in the United States. So, it's adjustment of status is much faster. If your spouse or, someone that you're going to get married to, or your parent, or your unmarried child under 21 happens to be in the United States, yes, adjustment of status is faster in general. Your family member is here in the United States with you. That's a lot. That's huge. Consular processing is, let's just say, it takes forever. Is that fair?
Yeah.
It's not fair. It takes a long time. It takes much longer. There's a much longer period of separation. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I mean, if you're lucky, and you get an I-130 approval quickly for that, and then national visas under processing. But like the interviews are so backlogged, and it's I think they should just let anyone who's trying to become an immigrant come to the United States on the tourist visa and do adjustment of status. Okay,
Well, that's our next question.
Forget I even said that. But don't you think that would be an awesome policy right now? But and it would just like reduce it would reduce all the hassle at the embassies, you know.
There you go. So how about sibling is in the Philippines and has a visa? Is it possible to apply for a green card when she comes here?
No, not through that I-130 petition filed by the U.S. citizen sibling. You cannot do adjustment of status because a visa is not available to you. And I've done a lot of videos about that. Well, I've done like 3 videos about this, about who can adjust status when they enter the United States on a tourist visa. And siblings are not one of them. It's a very, very small group of people. And check it out there. But I'll really just for family wise, it's the parent of a U.S. citizen, the unmarried child under 21 of a U.S. citizen, the spouse of a U.S. citizen. Right now, because of the June visa bulletin, if you are in the United States and you happen to be married to a lawful permanent resident, or you are an unmarried child under 21 of a lawful permanent resident, you're here on a tourist visa, you can actually adjust your status because it is current. But those are the only family categories that are able to adjust status. And those last 2 that I mentioned, the spouse and the unmarried child under 21 of a lawful permanent resident, that's only because the visa bulletin is current. If the visa bulletin were not current, that would not be the case. So, no.
All right.
It's a long answer to, I think I have a, while you're looking at that, I think I have another.
So one of the questions that we had here, and I'll go ahead and answer this one really quickly. Do you only deal with the Philippines? No, we don't only deal with the Philippines. We deal with every country in the world. But we just, if you're tuning in and you're hearing a lot of questions, we do get a lot of questions from folks that are curious about the Philippines and coming from the Philippines.
I think it's because I'm Filipino. That's what I'm going to bet on that.
You think that's what it is?
So here, I think that a lot of people, especially if you come to Facebook and if you come to TikTok, most of my followers are Filipino on TikTok. And it's because I've used like Filipino hashtag. It's like Filipino food and my, half Filipino children. I'm using those hashtags, but no, absolutely. In fact, most of our clients are not even from the Philippines. They're not Filipino.
That's true.
So it would be every other country other than the Philippines, but we do have a lot of clients, thankfully, from the Philippines. And, for Facebook, all my aunties and stuff are on Facebook. And so they're asking questions and, kind of sharing the page.
Scrolling through here quickly. U.S. citizen mother of 2 minors. Can the mother apply for a passport without the father's participation?
I'm going to say no on that.
Yeah, U.S. citizen mother of 2 minors. Can mother apply for passport without the father? Yeah, I think I'm going to say no too.
Father has to participate in that. And it doesn't mean that the dad has to go to the U.S. passport agency to do it. You can actually sign, have dad sign a notarized form. We actually did that. Mm-hmm. John signed a notarized form for our kids because we couldn't both be there. But there definitely has to be consent on the father's part in issuing that passport. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the answers, where are we located? So our physical office is in Virginia Beach, Virginia. But we deal with folks all over the world. We don't really need to see anyone physically in our office. We do a lot of things through Zoom, DocuSign, and so forth. So anywhere that you are in the world, we can work with you.
Yes, we have a lot of clients on the West Coast, and that was just because of referrals and people that we've helped before. And, John and I have met some amazing people in our lives, and we're blessed that they refer us clients from all over, but especially the West Coast.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we're on the East Coast and we represent clients on the West Coast as well. Everywhere, though.
How about a brother Can my brother petition his girlfriend from Abu Dhabi?
If brother is a U.S. citizen, if they could do a fiance visa, if they've seen each other within the past 2 years and he doesn't have any criminal record that would prevent him from doing a fiance visa, yeah, brother could also, if brother is a U.S. citizen, could get married. Brother could also, if brother is a lawful permanent resident, brother could get married and petition for his spouse, but cannot be a lawful permanent resident and do a fiance visa. You have to be a U.S. citizen.
How about mom's green card expired and she is in the Philippines? How can she come back to the U.S. again?
Oh, so that would have to be worked out with the embassy and getting that green card renewed. And I've actually never done an expired green card at the embassy in Manila. I'm not sure exactly how that, just technically that would work. If you want to shoot, whoever asked that question, if you want to shoot me a DM, I don't like not knowing the answers to questions like that. So shoot me a DM and I'll get you the answer to that. What the process is.
Yeah, and the follow-up about the signature, what if the father does not want his signature on everything?
Yeah. So if dad is not willing for the kids to have a passport and is not participating in that, then I don't know. I personally don't know of any way to get around that requirement. Do you?
I do not.
Unless there's a, maybe if they had, and I'm totally guessing here, not legal advice. None of this is legal advice, but I'm totally guessing. But perhaps if mom had full legal and physical custody of her children.
I was wondering if there's any sort of a waiver that father could sign. But that would, of course, require him to sign something, wouldn't it?
Right. But full, I think maybe full physical and legal custody would get it done.
Awesome.
My cousin brought her kids here, and I don't think dad was in the picture. So.
Okay, here's a comment. This is pretty cool. I can't read the name there, but he says, I think you spoke in Norfolk when I became a citizen back in 2018.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic.
For those of you who don't know, when they used to have the oath ceremonies at the, in person before COVID, at the federal courthouse, for example, they have guest speakers, and Radlyn has been a guest speaker on more than one occasion at an oath ceremony. And so that's pretty cool.
It is my crowning achievement as an immigration attorney and the daughter of immigrants to speak at a naturalization ceremony. It's fantastic. Feels good. I wanted to really quickly mention that there is for those of you who may be in immigration proceedings, and I know that not a lot of people who come on Facebook Live or the live stream are in immigration proceedings. That means you have a court date and you got to go to immigration court for whatever reason. There is a scam going on right now, and I did a quick video about it. And essentially, the number on your caller ID is going to pop up, and it looks like it's coming from the immigration judge's chambers. Okay, it's a 703 number. And the scammers are actually trying to get personal information from you that, the immigration court would not be asking you from this particular number. So if you get a phone call, if you're in immigration proceedings, again, I know this applies to, a small amount of people. Be careful. Don't give out personal information to anyone. The immigration court would not ask you for that. So please be careful. Which is sad. It's a sad state of affairs when people are preying on those who are already going through a very stressful time, deportation proceedings. But that's the world.
Yeah, that's good advice. And this is pretty cool. He said that when you spoke, he remembers that you talked about your parents' store.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. Appreciate that.
Okay. Sugar Bear says that they have something on record from 1990. Will that cancel out my petition?
Something on record. It depends on what it is.
Yeah, I was going to say we need a little more information on that.
Yeah, and don't put it in there. Don't put it in the comments if you don't want to.
Yeah.
If you don't want everyone to know about what it
don't-
was in 1990, go ahead
Right.
and just send us a DM and we'll let you know. And again, guys, if you want to kind of go deeper into your case and just get some clarification, we'd be happy to talk to you. And you can shoot us a text or call us at 757-464-9224. We have an amazing team and they will set you up with an appointment if you would like one.
All right. And this gentleman wants to know, is it faster to get a visa if we get married in the USA before she goes back to Indonesia?
Oh my gosh. So so what I'm hearing here, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So this is why it's so important to consult with somebody. And I don't know where you guys are. Again, we see people everywhere, all around the world, in all 50 states. If your person that you want to marry is here in the United States, and they don't have to return, they may be able to do adjustment of status. Okay. A lot of people think that, you have to go back. That's just not true. It's not true. So if the person asking the question is a US citizen, if they're a lawful permanent resident right now, there is that possibility to do adjustment of status. And and I've seen this before. I always ask the people that are sitting in front of us, the couples, we say, hey, what is the goal? What is your goal? And 9.5 times out of 10, the goal is, gosh, I really wish that, they didn't have to go back to their country. You're like, oh, you know what? They don't have to. And they're just super happy with me. Right. So it's on a case by case basis.
Yeah. In his case, he said she has to go back because she has 2 kids there.
Gotcha. Okay.
But this is good advice.
Yeah.
For anyone listening about whether you have to go back or not.
Has to go back because of 2 children. Right. That's tough. And so, yeah, it goes back, and I don't know when you joined, but it really goes back to, we have the 2 kids, right? And if you get married, then you file a petition for each one of the children. If you are a fiance visa, then the children go underneath the moms. And but then you have to file the green card application for all 3 of them once they get here. So it's tough to say, again, it depends on timing. It depends on filing fees. The legal fees are the same pretty much, but it's expensive to do adjustment of status with a K-1 visa because it's expensive to do adjustment of status. But, if money is not a factor, filing fees are expensive with adjustment of status, but we got to figure out the timing. I mean, we have to figure out the goal of this couple before she goes back to Indonesia. Is it better to get married? I can't answer that question without knowing more, without knowing about the goals and, how old are the children. Sometimes it's strategic to do a fiance visa if there's a possibility of aging out. Probably not the case if she's got to go back to younger children. But I wish I could know. I mean, I wish there was one answer fits all, but there's just not. And I can't answer that question. Yeah.
So how about if I'm a US citizen and I am going to marry a young lady in the Philippines? She's in the Philippines right now, but she may be able to come here. Is it faster? Is it better for us to get married in the Philippines, or is it better for us to get married in the United States?
So this is a little tricky, a minefield kind of question
Sure
with an answer. So, let me just generally say, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. Let me just generally say that if a person is here on a tourist visa and they get married to a US citizen, that is the fastest way, process-wise, to get a green card. Okay. Now, there are issues with this particular question because she's not here yet. So what is she going to say? Like if she has a visa already, then she just comes into the United States. What is she going to say? What's the reason for entering the United States? Of course, if she's asked, then she has to be truthful. If she if she only knows one person in the United States and it's a fiance or a boyfriend who also happens to be a U.S. citizen, there is the possibility that person could actually get turned back. I've seen that happen before. If they don't ask and she comes in, then, you know, there's a possibility that they could do that. But again, there's a lot kind of going here. I don't like to answer this question because, again, everything is case by case basis, and there are potential pitfalls with this particular scenario that I definitely don't want to, you know, advise on the live stream. All right.
Is everybody following that? They want to get a tourist visa and show up and say, well, I'm here to get married. That's why I got the tourist visa. That's not going to fly. Right.
Okay, we've actually we've seen cases where the you know, the person is sent back, turned right around, and that's not a pretty sight.
Yep.
Because you have to pay for your return ticket.
Yeah,
on the spot.
Be very careful here, folks.
Yep.
Okay, you don't want to have a wonderful moment in your life turn into a really unpleasant moment.
Yeah, and we get. I mean, again, it hasn't happened. You know, we've been doing this for 22 years. It doesn't happen often. It's only happened a handful of times, but that's enough, right? Like it's enough because it's so traumatizing to everybody involved. So very traumatizing when we get that call, and you know, it's tough. It all gets worked out in the end, but the time in between before it gets worked out is not a happy time.
Right. But that said, as Radlyn said, the easiest, fastest, most efficient thing that can happen for your immigration case is to be in the United States, get married to a U.S. citizen, U.S. citizen petition for you. That's
right. That's as
good as it gets.
That's generally speaking. I mean, again, we can't speak to everyone's different facts because everyone's facts are different. And we have to be very mindful of that when we're talking on Facebook live stream.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Yes, I gave my fraud warning update. And Ray is still with us. Ray has been.
Philippines. I think we got all these questions. I've been trying. I'm just coming through here, folks, looking for more.
Yeah, thank you guys for all the questions. You know, we always appreciate the support of our live stream family. We do come here every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope this is a good time for all of you guys. If there is something that you want us to cover, you know, let us know and we can address a particular topic.
Yeah.
Last week, I think it was last week, we did a fiance visa webinar, which was awesome. We had a lot of great questions and it was a free webinar. We'll do it again, probably after our daughter's graduation. We're going to let the whole month of June just kind of, but maybe at the beginning of July after the 4th, we'll do another fiance visa webinar. And it's a deep dive into that process because again, a lot of people are asking questions about that.
All right. So I apologize. I know we're getting ready to finish up here. All this discussion that we've had has generated a couple of people asking for clarification. The clarification is if the fiance comes to the United States on a tourist visa, they get married here and a petition for her here, does she have to go back to the Philippines or her
whatever country
country she came from?
So that's the whole thing about the adjustment of status. You do not have to go back. Now this is interesting because I consulted with a client last week and she was advised by another immigration attorney in her state that the mom had to go back after we filed the adjustment of status. Like, that is absolutely not true. It's incorrect advice. You could actually abandon your I-485, your green card application, and it is not true. So sorry, wrong advice. You know? And that happens sometimes. But no, once an application, the I-130 and the I-45 is filed, and even if the person's I-94, which there's a period of authorized stay, expires, that person who is the beneficiary of that I-130, I-45 does not have to return back to their country.
Right.
So that is a huge benefit because, again, 9.5 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, our couples want to stay together. The goal is to be together and not have any periods of separation. Sometimes, like the person whose fiance is from Indonesia, you have to go back. I wish I could say, gosh, just do the fiance visa. It's going to be faster. I just don't know that at this moment in time. I remember sending a couple of people back to their country, a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago and saying, hey, the fiance visa is going to be faster. And no, it actually wasn't. It turned into a nightmare. The fiance visa absolutely during COVID turned into an absolute nightmare. And there are several lawsuits that are going on right now to get fiance visa couples together and immigrating, coming on their fiance visa to the United States. So those are really good questions.
Yeah. Okay. We're at 1 hour, so we're going to have to cut out of here. There's one real quick question. I hate to do it to you. Just
don't do it. Don't apologize. They want us to stay on for like another hour. Come on.
One last
it's our
question.
Kid that we have to apologize to. She's
one
hungry.
last quick question, and then we are gonna have to wrap it up here. And that is a concern about, and I know that we've had this issue come up, a concern about getting married in a Muslim country. It's a Muslim marriage. Is there any problem with that? Or that he's heard that that the marriage won't be accepted here as a real marriage because it's under a Muslim faith?
No, it as long as it's properly registered and recognized in that country, it is valid in the United States for immigration purposes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
we've had that question before from folks.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get to that to make sure.
No, it's good. Our goal here is, a lot of people do their own self-filing, and we want to help you guys along on that journey. And if it's something that you feel like, hey, I think I want some more help with this, you don't have to have an immigration attorney to process your case. You don't have to have an attorney to help you with a ticket, right? A DUI or a reckless driving. You don't have to. It's your
Not
choice.
even
It's
murder.
you
can waive. You can waive counsel even.
So lawyers are optional, and we don't want to sit here and say, oh yeah, you need to have an attorney for that. We're here for you guys in order to answer questions. It's our way of giving back. Let's just say it's our pro bono time of the week, right? Where we're trying to share information. But if you feel like, gosh, I don't really feel like dealing with this, a lot of our clients can do it. The people who hire us, they can do it. I can build our own website. Do I want to do that right now in my life? No, I don't. I want to hire somebody else to do it. So it's optional. But if you feel like, hey, I think I want to try to do this, then you can absolutely do it. You don't need an immigration attorney. We highly recommend that you do. Of course, we're biased. But we've been in business for 20 plus years, and we love representing people and seeing fantastic outcomes. So Tio from Facebook, hello. He's got a good question here. Good evening, guys. Is it best to get a medical exam for adjustment of status, paperwork, or after? Okay, so file with the adjustment of status or file or at the time of the interview. It depends on if you have time to file to get that medical done. If we're doing it based on the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, let's say let's just talk about parent or unmarried child under 21. We like to file everything complete, right? We like to file it with the medical, because with those different categories, you don't have to have an interview. Okay. If we're talking about a spouse case, a lot of times when clients come see us, they want to file that marriage case right away. Somebody's I-94 is expiring. They don't feel comfortable with that. Maybe they're on an ESTA. And oftentimes we bring that medical to the interview for marriage cases. If you don't file your I-485 with a medical, then you will get something. It'll say I-693, which is the medical form, deficiency notice. It used to say courtesy notice, but now it says deficiency notice. It basically just says, hey, you need to bring this to the interview. If it's a marriage case and they're going to schedule an interview, all marriage cases have an interview. If it's a parent, they will RFE for it, request for evidence for that medical if you didn't file it with. If we're talking about employment-based cases and the visa is not available yet, I would not file an employment-based case with a medical. All right. Could that be our last question of the day?
We're going to get out of here, folks. All right. It's been great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fantastic
lot
questions.
of great
Thank you,
questions.
TikTok fam,
Thank you so much.
followers. Thank you, Livestream, Facebook fam.
If you have other questions, comments that you think of, again, we do this every Sunday at 8:00. So join us next week, same time. Okay.
Absolutely. And for those who want to dive a little bit deeper, again, our phone number, you can text us or call us at 757-464-9224. It is in the comments, 757-464-9224. You can text or call for an appointment, and we'll be happy to help you. You can also send us an email, info@gmlaw.net. And of course, we're all on social media. So thank you guys so much for your time and attention tonight and all the wonderful questions. It makes it that much more fun to answer questions, right? Yeah.
GardnerMendoza.com if you're looking for more information. Okay, folks, you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we will see you here next Sunday at 8:00.
Two thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.
All right. Bye, guys.